The objective of this lesson is to gain an understanding of the attribute of volume and relate volume to multiplication and to addition. Let's look at some vocabulary before we get started. Polyhedron, a three-dimensional shape with plane faces. Volume, the amount of space occupied by a three-dimensional object measured in cubic units. A three-dimensional object has length, width, and height. Rectangular prism is a polyhedron with two or more identical rectangular bases. Unit cube, a cube that measures 1 unit in length, 1 unit in width, and 1 unit in height. In 3rd and 4th grade, students learned how much liquid it takes to fill a container. They poured units of measure into a space to measure volume. Volume of solids is measured by how many unit cubes it takes to fill up a three-dimensional space with no gaps and no overlaps. So now we will be packing units of measure using unit cubes. 5th grade students work exclusively with rectangular prisms that have whole number side lengths. In figuring out the volume of a rectangular prism, attention is given to the height of the unit in addition to its length and width. Once a layer of unit cubes has been packed and counted, another layer is added. This process is repeated until the rectangular prism has been filled with unit cubes. Students need practice filling rectangular prisms so they will gain an understanding of what volume actually is. If students don't have a deep understanding of what formulas or equations really mean, it's difficult to memorize and apply them when needed. It is important to note that volume is measured in cubic units such as cubic inches, cubic feet, and cubic centimeters. Students should use this precise language to communicate volume. After packing volume several times, they will begin to discover situational equations which are written to match a specific situation or model. For example, after they have packed one layer, they may find it more efficient to count how many layers will be needed to fill the prism and add them together. If in the first layer there are 12 unit cubes and it will take 3 layers to fill a prism, they could add 12 plus 12 plus 12 to find the volume of 36 cubic units. They might discover that instead of adding 12 3 times, it is more efficient to multiply 12 times 3. So, volume equals base times height. They might also discover that the first layer was 4 cubes by 3 cubes, which equals 12 cubes. This could lead them into the discovery of volume equals length times width times height. The use of these formulas comes after the extensive process of packing and experimenting, before the formulas or equations are introduced. The objective of this lesson was to gain an understanding of the attribute of volume and relate volume to multiplication and addition. In this lesson, the meaning of volume was introduced and explained. After extensive practice, the formulas volume equals base times height and volume equals length times width times height was mentioned. The importance of hands-on manipulatives and complete understandings before formulas are introduced was stressed. The relationship between volume and multiplication and addition was established.